And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
And here we go.
Senator, you're at the center of this negotiation with the president over his social spending and tax bill, the Build Back Better bill that is not coming up in the Senate before the new year, in part largely because of your reservations. Without you, the leadership doesn't have the votes it needs. So today, right now, what's the state of play?
Well, Brett, you know, this is a mammoth piece of legislation, and I had my reservations from the beginning when I heard about it 5.5 months ago, and I've been working diligently. Every day and every minute of every day I've been working on this, meeting with, whether it be the President Biden, whether it be Majority Leader Schumer and his staff, whether it would be with Nancy Pelosi, all of my colleagues, I mean, from all different spectrums of the political spectrum, if you will, from the right to the left. I've done everything humanly possible. It's making it almost difficult for them to continue to go to their jobs, the cost of gasoline, the cost of groceries, the cost of utility bills. All of these things are hitting in every aspect of their life. A debt that we're carrying at $29 trillion. You have also the geopolitical unrest that we have. You have the COVID variant, and that is wreaking havoc again. People are concerned. I've been with my family. I know everyone's concerned. So when you have these things coming at you the way they are right now, and I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no on this legislation. I have tried everything I know to do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jasper Gonzo here. Another What's Next. Happy Tuesday, everyone. A few more days to Christmas Day. With all the stories floating around out there, especially in pop culture, with one Spider-Man No Way Home taking the world by storm, breaking the 300 million mark, which is amazing in itself. Getting the people back out to the theaters, getting away from all the nonsense and actually delving into the world of fantasy without all the woke garbage. Sadly, politics rolls on. DC politics. There is a $5 trillion bill that is stalled right now, by one man. Turns out to be Senator Joe Manchin out of Virginia. Basically has looked over this bill and says, "Fuck you, Joe, not gonna happen." And of course, everybody on the Democratic Party, the Socialist Party, and the Dementia administration and left-wing politics are screaming and yelling, clutching pearls, panties bunching. How dare Joe Manchin do this to us? But yeah. Take a look at this. This comes out of Breitbart. Peter Schweitzer. Joe Manchin resisted many offers for cronyism, corruption, self-enrichment to be bought or rented. Peter Schweitzer, president of the Government Accountability Institute, GAI, praised Senator Joe Manchin, profile and courage, who rejected offers for self-enrichment while guest hosting for Sean Hannity. Schweitzer reflected on a research of political corruption in Washington, D.C. while examining Manchin's recent refusal to join the other socialists in passing the $4.91 trillion bill, supposedly to build back better for America, as I call it, the American Destruction Bill, pushed by the Dementia administration and left-wing political nuts. Manchin rebuffed attempt to be purchased or rented by political supporters of the Build Back Better bill. Eric, you and I, a lot of times call people out, Republicans and Democrats, for cronyism, corruption, and self-enrichment. Schweitzer remarked, Manchin resisted those temptations and voting no because, believe me, he was offered a lot of things. You bet. It's a time-honored tradition in D.C. to be basically, if you can't buy a politician, at least rent them. Quote, there is a time-honored tradition in buying off politicians, Schweitzer concluded. This is a no-doubt sort of thing that was thrown at Manchin, that was offered to him, that was offered to West Virginia, that was offered to his family. Perfect example. In the previous iterations of the bill, Gail Manchin, who is married to Joe Manchin, was nominated to serve as the co-chair of something called Appalachian Regional Commission. This is just a regional entity that distributes funds to help improve infrastructure networks. That job, which she was nominated to by the Dementia Administration, comes with a salary of $163,000. Some people have pointed out to this, hey, Joe Biden appoints Manchin's wife. Everybody knows Manchin's going to be a key vote on this. Appoint his wife to the commission and is poised to receive a big-time payout from this bill. This is just how Washington works, right? Breitbart also. Democratic Representative Bowman. Manchin showed, quote, as a white man, yes, to whiteness, and we all knew a matter of time before race was going to be involved in this, that he doesn't care about black people, Latinos, and women. On Monday's broadcast of CNN's Don Lemon Tonight, which nobody watches, Bowman stated that Joe Manchin's opposition to the bill is an example of Joe Manchin as a white man showing that he doesn't care about black people, Latinos, immigrants, women, the poor, Martians, Hollywood actors. Just take everybody, just throw them into the mix. Doesn't matter. Bowman said Manchin said his special interests, his donors, lobbyists were cutting the bill for several months because they did not want this bill to pass. Why? Because this bill disproportionately, because supports people of color. It supports women, children, poor, lifts them out of poverty. Why would Manchin want to support that when this would benefit West Virginia tremendously? It's tremendously frustrating to me as a black man in America. Yes, the racism. Because once again, it's an example of Joe Manchin, white man, doesn't care about the blacks, Latinos, immigrants, or anybody else. He's a millionaire. He has the privilege, yes, that white privilege of his. Damn him for not checking it. To kick down the road and not vote for this bill while people in my district are suffering. We just buried a 17-year-old who was shot dead in the head a couple of weeks ago. What does that have anything to do with the bill? Beats me. Now hear from the mouth itself.
Joining me now, Congressman Jamal Bowman. He's a Democrat from New York. Congressman, thank you for being here. I'm happy to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
Now, Congressman, you're part of the Progressive Caucus, and you all
Shocker.
have been negotiating in good faith with the rest of your
Stunned.
party for months now. And you pushed through the infrastructure package with expectations of the spending package passing. Here's what he said to Fox News. Listen to this.
I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
Thank you, Joe.
This is a no.
This is a no
Boom.
on this legislation. I have tried everything I know to do.
Congressman, what did you think when you heard him say that?
Racism.
So this is exactly why tens of millions of Americans don't care about our government, don't trust our government, and
Yes,
are
this is
done
the reason why.
our
With all the
government. Not
shit
just the
going on,
Republican Party,
this is
but
the reason why.
Democratic Party as well. I was infuriated when I heard
Clowns.
those comments, but I wasn't surprised because we had been sounding the alarm on this for several months, worried about what Manchin was going to do when it was time for him to make a decision. It went from $3.5 trillion to $1.75 trillion because him, his special interests, his donors, and lobbyists were cutting the bill for several months because they did not want this bill to pass. Why? Because this bill disproportionately supports people of color. It supports people of color. It supports women. It supports children. It supports those who are poor and lifts them out of poverty.
Let's not forget the, well, he forgot to mention, the alphabet crew, maybe he just slipped his mind. All right. One, I tip my hat to Joe Manchin. He stood his ground. Basically did what he was supposed to do. I looked at this bill. This bill is trash. You, Joe, not going to happen. And, of course, here come all the lib nuts. All the retards coming out of the woodwork, like this clown out of New York who basically said Joe Manchin is a white supreme and he's a racist because he didn't vote for this bill. He hates blacks. He hates brown people. He hates women. He hates the poor. He hates Martians. He hates the alphabet crew. He hates everyone. That's the reason. We went from 3.9 trillion to 1 point. Anything with a trillion attached to it is garbage. Is absolute garbage. But the one thing that gets me, and it still gets me after all these years, is that why is Manchin still in the Democratic Party? Why is he still holding on to these Democratic policies, or to the Democratic, or what used to be the Democratic Party, like JFK? Why? He seems like an open-minded fellow. He seems like a guy who basically is willing to hear both sides, but yet still stays with the Democratic Party. He can't change it. It's the Socialist Party now. It's the woke party. He cannot change it from within. His best bet, drop out, go independent, and say, listen, I agree sometimes with the Republicans. I agree sometimes with the Democrats. But at least I'm open-minded enough to hear both sides. Because we all know that the Democratic Party only hears one side. And that's the bullshit side. That's the garbage side. That's the woke side. That's what they are. But my props to Joe Manchin. I'm sure he was getting bombarded with offers left and right. And then for him to come out on full blast on Fox and say, yeah, no. Good for him. Good for us as the American people who don't have to shell out more of our tax money for trash like this bill. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.